Hello everyone, and happy 4th of July to all of our American viewers. We hope you're ready for some fireworks with BakuDeku today, with a more confident, cool and collected, more daring, and borderline greedy Deku. We hope you'll enjoy it, but first, we have a Discord server set up for the channel. It's the top link in the description of all our videos, so we hope to see you there. Now, onto our firework-filled Bakudeku video. Everything is happening in real time, like that of a play. Bakugou burst through the doors of the nurse's office, panting and sweating from how fast he moved to get there. Oi, where's the nerd? I heard he got hurt this morning and I swear to All Might if he's been badly injured, I'm gonna. Relax Bakugou, Deku is fine, except for his hand. You're a bit late because he got up and went to class already. But be warned, he's not. She was too late in warning him, as Bakugou immediately turned around and bolted for their homeroom. Recovery girl sighed, shaking her head a bit as she placed a hand on her forehead. He's not exactly normal now, in fact he's become more like you Bakugou. Oh, no worries, he'll be back to normal in a few hours, but not before I give him a smack to the back of the head for calling me old hag. Recovery girl just rolled her eyes in slight annoyance at Bakugou's rushing about, whatever quirk Deku has been hit with affecting her slightly due to its some residual energy coming from him. Bakugou rushed through the halls to reach the classroom, almost busting down the door as it slammed open. Deku, are you? He paused, blinking a few times when he saw a very bad boy-looking Deku sitting in his normal seat. Immediately he saw his bandaged hand, Bakugou's own hands balling up into fists as he stomps on over. Oi nerd, you're supposed to wait for me after you get hurt, not just run off. And what's with that outfit, you look? Bakugou was promptly interrupted by Deku standing up in his seat, leaning forward, and grabbing him by the front of his jacket. Moments later, Bakugou was pulled in for a kiss, much to his surprise at just how bold it was given all of their classmates were watching. It lasted for a few seconds before Deku pulled away, grinning but still holding onto his jacket tightly with his hands. All of their classmates were utterly surprised at this turn of events, Uraraka sputtering a bit a few seats away with a bright red face, Toru taking plenty of pictures with her phone. Mina was also taking pictures and typing away furiously into her phone, while Kaminari let out a whistle from his seat. Man, I didn't expect to get a show in homeroom like this. Oi, shut up electric dunce. Mind your own business. You're being so manly today Deku, you go dude. Get your manly energies, away. Oi, beepy hair, shut up. Bakugou holds up a sparking hand threateningly at everyone, who all promptly gulp and look away, besides a jealous and concerned Todoroki. Deku meanwhile is just grinning and enjoying this, gently kissing Bakugou on his cheek to get his attention. Sorry for worrying you Kacchan, but I had to get cleaned up and ready for class so I didn't have time to stick around. Besides, that old hag was doting on me way too much, and her quirk was working too slowly for my tastes so I had to get out of there as fast as I could. The whole class is quite shocked by what Deku called recovery girl, even Bakuji is shocked. What hey that's not how you normally. Wait you mean you're still injured? You should have let her finish healing you, idiot. Why I? Bakugou stops as Aizawa enters the room, looking over at the shouting Bakugou and Deku with his bandaged hand. Seriously, you hurt yourself again problem child? When are you going to learn to fight without hurting and incapacitating yourself? How many bones have you broken again this year? 5? 7? A dozen? Honestly. The exact number is actually 15 now Sensei, but if you'd actually teach us stuff and not just laze about in your sleeping bag most classes, it would probably be much lower. Deku has the most sarcastic smile possible on his face while saying this. The whole class just gasps in response to hearing that, even Bakugou is very shocked as his head snaps from Aizawa to Deku and back again. Aizawa just blinks once before sighing and rubbing his eyes. Nope, I'm not dealing with this today, Ida you're in charge of the problem children in this class. You have a test to study for next week now on the next 3 chapters, be ready for it. And with that, Aizawa slips into his sleeping bag, zips it up, and goes to sleep. The whole class is still in shock from what Deku has done and said so far, so they don't really react to the news of the test at first. When they do though, it's a collective wait, we have a test now. Deku merely shrugs and grins as the rest of the class looks at him with exasperation, and he leans back in his seat with his hands behind his head. They all groan, figuring out that whatever is going on with Deku is probably due to a quirk of some kind. Let's just avoid aggravating him and making things worse for us all. Todoroki's suggestion makes sense and the rest of the class quickly agree, even Mina does. I would love to have some more tea, but I can't risk getting any more tests or homework that I'm going to fail, cries for her poor grade in this class. Throughout the rest of the class period, Deku is primarily focused on teasing his boyfriend, sitting beside him, leaning against him, and just in general being flirty. You know Kacchan, I don't think I've said this before really, but I really like your hair. I mean sure, it looks spiky, menacing, bristly, and rough with all the spikes, but really, your hair is just soft, silky, smooth, and inviting even. Grinning, Deku's hand went up to Bakugo's head, his hand gently running through his hair. Nosebleeds occurred between several classmates watching the scene unfold, and Toru quietly got some great photos from this incident. Bakugo meanwhile just grumbled and blushed deeply, turning his head away while he grabbed his bottle of water to drink from it. Yeah, whatever you say, nerd. He went to drink as Deku leaned in closer suddenly, grinning from ear to ear. And those red eyes of yours? So deep and intoxicating, they make me want to. No one else could hear what he said next as he leaned in closer to Bakugo and whispered it. One can imagine though as he suddenly spat out his drink, his face glowed red, and his nose started to bleed a little. Deku smirked triumphantly before producing a napkin and passing it to his boyfriend. He looked like the cat that ate the canary, crossing his arms over his chest with that all too pleased expression. The bell rang for the next class, and they all went to the next class. It was much the same for the rest of the day, a more confident Deki teasing Bakugo and being provocative throughout the next few classes, all the way until PE. Of course, as the two were in the locker rooms, Deku was doing all he could to tease Bakugo, much to his and everyone else's chagrin. Kirishima and Kaminari were a bit annoyed by what Deku was doing and saying after hours of it, but they didn't say anything. Todoroki was quite unenthused as he watched this, walking out into the gym with the rest of the boys. Immediately, Deku was being incredibly confident and cocky, borderline too much so as he began to show off. Even Bakugo was getting annoyed, especially with one particular statement. You know I'm going to be the #1 hero, right Kacchan? I'm going to be the one to surpass All Might. Before Bakugo could retort, Todoroki stepped up with his arms crossed over his chest. If you're going to be the #1, then why don't you show me what you've got, unless you're scared of course. This irked Deku in his current state to no end as he grinned in an almost wicked way. Oh you're so on, icy hot. Moments later and they were going at it, with the other students standing a ways off to safely watch the two spar it out. Kirishima walked up to Bakugo alongside Kaminari, with Kirishima shaking his head while Kaminari looked worried. Deku has started to lose his manliness, he really needs to tone down the confidence a bit. Should we be letting them go at it like that? This doesn't seem smart or safe. Honestly, Icy Hot did the smartest thing all day. He's focusing all of Deku's attention on him in a sparring match so he can't run his mouth as well. And he's pushing Deku to be even stronger. I was just about to do the same thing to knock some sense into his head. And I'm going to have to owe him now, that icy hot bastard. Bakugo groaned and put a hand to his face before shaking his head in exasperation. ... Just what kind of relationship do you two have again? One where you're constantly trying to one-up each other and prove who's best, or one where you two love each other? 'Cause I swear, I can't tell which it is half the time. I can't even tell which it is a half of the time. Smiley faces of confusion. ... Electric dance, that's a quarter of the time. ... I knew that. I was just testing you. Bakugo shakes his head and turns back to the sparring match just as it finished up, with the final bell ringing stopping it. Not bad, Midoriya-kun, perhaps one day you can be the #1 hero. He starts to walk away as Deku huffs in a bit of anger, face a light red. Hey, icy hot, get back here, we aren't done. Bakugo walks up then, smirking as he pins Deku against one of the soft targets in the gym, hands on his boyfriend's shoulders. He glances back a bit menacingly at everyone still in the room, who took the signal and exited, leaving them alone. Oh my, you're quite the bold one now. What, are you worried about them all seeing us kiss again? He grinned and leaned towards him to give him a kiss when a finger went up to his lips suddenly. No, I'm jealous that they got to see you like this, that they got to see and experience this hidden side of you that should only be for me to enjoy. Deku blinked a couple of times, surprised for a moment before breaking out into a grin. So you're jealous then, huh? Well, I suppose I'll just have to do. Bakugo leaned and silenced Deku with a kiss this time, a very passionate kiss. Deku blinked in complete surprise before joining in, pushing forward and wrapping his arms around him with hands grabbing the back of Bakugo's shirt. This lasted for several minutes before they finally broke apart, Deku's face alight, but noticeably brighter shade of red than before the kiss. Now that was a kiss. How about we go back to your room and have some more fun? Nice try, nerd, but I can tell you've gone back to normal now. Bakugo grinned, pulling away but holding onto Deku's hands. Deku winced and pouted a bit, his blush growing a bit brighter. What gave it away? Your grip on me softened, and you started to kiss more gently. You weren't as possessive and aggressive. You always were careful about not hurting me. Deku huffed a bit at that, looking away with an even brighter blush. Yeah, well, you've got me there. Bakugo grinned before placing his hands underneath Deku's chin, gently grasping it, and tilting it to look towards him. That confidence is only for me to experience though, got it? No one else gets to see this side of you. Deku's eyes went wide when his chin was grasped, legs dangerously wobbling for a moment before he nods his head. Still grinning, Bakugo knelt a bit and lifted him up, carrying Deku bridal style out of the gym. What hey Kacchan? Hey, stoop, put me down, I can walk. Not a chance. Not only did you not let Recovery Girl finish healing you, but you also took some damage from Todoroki. Bakugo's left hand lightly squeezed a scorched part of Deku's pants, his leg just slightly injured thankfully. Deku still winced and hissed a bit though, before groaning and shaking his head. I'm going to have to apologize to Recovery Girl tomorrow, Sensei, and everyone else I was rude to. Except for Monoma. He was being rude about you first. Groaning again and giving in to being carried, Deku threw his head back, eyes closed. Yes you will, and I'm going to be there for every apology. You just love seeing my distress, don't you? Slightly annoyed face as he lifts his head up and looks at Bakugo. Nope, I just love seeing the problems you cause, problem child. MHA, that's Sensei's nickname for me, deeply embarrassed, flustered faces as he gets carried off to the dorms. The end. Thank you all so much for watching, we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. As mentioned before, we have a Discord server link down below, so feel free to go check that out and join us. We also have all of our social media down there, so be sure to follow us for future updates on future content. Goodbye for now.